I'm Teisha Bader with Shalom TV's news update for Thursday, May the 23rd, 2013. Ynet reports that the Egyptian army intercepted a large supply of smuggled weapons intended to reach Gaza today, ultimately to be used against Israel. Citing the Egyptian army spokesperson's post to Facebook, the report says the weapons were being smuggled through tunnels in the Rafah area, which is the town that borders Egypt and the Gaza Strip, and included Qassam rockets, anti-aircraft missiles, and surface-to-air missiles, as well as over 100 rifles. The tunnels have been a major smuggling route for weapons and other items for years. Egypt's army has clamped down on smuggling efforts in the area and increased their presence along the border with Gaza. Israel targeted the tunnels last November during its conflict with Hamas, with airstrikes rendering over 100 tunnels inoperative. However, many have been restored since then. U.S. Vice President Joe Biden praised the Jewish contribution to American society at a reception for Jewish Heritage Month held Tuesday night, where the Vice President talked about the role Jews played in the civil rights movement, as well as advances in music, science, and technology, and women's rights as achievements of outstanding Jewish individuals. He said the truth is that Jewish heritage, Jewish culture, Jewish values are such an essential part of who we are that it's fair to say that Jewish heritage is American heritage. The reception was hosted by the Democratic National Committee and organized by Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz of Florida. Congress legislated Jewish Heritage Month in 2006. Academy Award-winning actor and activist Sean Penn testified before a House panel this week on behalf of Jacob Ostreicher, the American Jewish businessman who has been detained for almost 2 years now in Bolivia. Ostreicher was imprisoned for allegations of money laundering related to a business investment in the country, although no formal charges were ever filed against him and no evidence of wrongdoing was ever presented. Ostreicher was let out of prison on bail last December, but he remains under house arrest and cannot leave the country. Sean Penn has been active in Ostreicher's case and testified at a congressional hearing on Monday where he urged Congress to take action. Penn has traveled to Bolivia 3 times and met with Bolivian President Evo Morales on the matter, but says that despite Morales' good intentions, the judiciary is so corrupt in Bolivia that he believes there's nothing the president can do to get Ostreicher out. Monday's hearing was held by Congressman Chris Smith, chairman of the House panel that oversees international human rights. Smith also traveled to Bolivia several times to meet with Ostreicher and held several congressional hearings in an effort to gain his freedom. During this last hearing, Smith said he would be reintroducing his Jacob's Law bill that would deny entry into the U.S. to officials of any foreign government and their immediate family who are involved in failing to allow due process or are involved in any human rights violations against a jailed American. The Times of Israel reports that Muslim religious leaders from the United States and several Muslim countries are touring Poland this week to learn more about European Jewry and the Holocaust. 13 imams from Indonesia, the Palestinian Authority, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Bosnia, and other Muslim countries, along with 5 American imams, visited the new Museum of the History of Polish Jews in Warsaw on Monday and visited the Auschwitz death camp yesterday. After seeing the death camp, president of the Islamic Society of North America, Mohammed Magid, said he was speechless. He said, whether in Europe today or in the Muslim world, my call to humanity, end racism for God's sake, end anti-Semitism for God's sake, end Islamophobia for God's sake, end sexism for God's sake. Enough is enough. The trip was organized by the U.S. State Department, and several American Jewish organizations also accompanied the group. The imams will also tour sites connected to the Warsaw and Krakow ghettos and meet with Catholic, Muslim, and Jewish leaders on their visit, which ends tomorrow. And finally, the National Council of Young Israel teamed with Agristar Meat and Poultry and the Mazbia organization to facilitate the delivery of 20,000 pounds of food to tornado victims in Oklahoma this week, in the aftermath of the deadly tornado there. The food was delivered to the Chabad Community Center for Jewish Life and Learning in the city, which will arrange for its distribution. Masbia provides food relief services in New York City. They set out to raise the funds to pay for the food to be trucked from Agristar in Iowa to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And the National Council of Young Israel offered to cover the shipping costs so the food could get there quickly. The Jewish organizations involved said that in this time of crisis, they were hoping to at least provide the affected community in Oklahoma with one less thing to worry about. And that's Shalom TV's news update for Thursday, May the 23rd. I will be away for a week. I'll be back on Monday, June the 3rd. Wishing you well. Until then, I'm Teisha Bader.